You wake up in the morning, stretch your arms, and tell yourself, "Today is mine. I'll decide what happens. I'll choose how I feel." But pause for a second. What if that sense of control is just an illusion? What if every conversation, every emotion, every twist in your day was already programmed long before the alarm went off? And not by some outside force, not by fate or destiny, but by you, in those quiet final minutes before you drifted off to sleep last night. This thought is unsettling, isn't it? We've been raised to believe that free will means waking up and steering our lives through conscious choice. Yet the ancient mystics and modern thinkers like Neville Goddard point to a disturbing possibility. We aren't writing the script of life in the daylight hours at all. We're only performing it. The real script writing happens in the invisible workshop of sleep. Think of it like this. Sleep isn't just rest. It's a hidden laboratory. While your body lies still, your subconscious is wide awake, silently taking the emotional seed you planted before drifting off and spending the next 8 hours weaving it into tomorrow's experience. That's why 1/3 of your existence, almost 26 years in the average human life, isn't wasted time, it's programming time. And here lies the paradox. Most people use this powerful creative window unconsciously. They carry stress, anger, jealousy, or fear into sleep, then wonder why life greets them with the same heavy script every morning. It's like throwing weeds into fertile soil and expecting roses to bloom. The soil does not care. It grows whatever you plant. The hidden program. Have you ever noticed how you sometimes wake up already anxious, even before anything has gone wrong? You haven't checked your phone, nobody has spoken to you, yet a cloud hangs over the day. That's not chance. It's the residue of last night's mental state crystallizing into morning reality. Science explains sleep in biological terms: memory consolidation, brain detox, tissue repair. All of that is true, but partial. What gets left out is the most radical piece, that your emotional tone before sleep becomes the blueprint for the next day's unfolding. And unlike waking thoughts, which you can somewhat filter, the subconscious accepts impressions without judgment. It doesn't argue, it doesn't analyze, it only obeys. Imagine a 3D printer. Feed it the design of a chair, and it prints a chair. Feed it the design of a broken stick, and it prints that instead. The printer doesn't care what you give it. Your subconscious works the same way. The final emotional impression you carry into sleep is the design file. Your life tomorrow is the printout. Now, here's the real challenge. You don't notice this happening. You wake up convinced you are making choices, while in reality, you are acting inside a play already written. The meetings, the moods, the coincidences, they aren't random. They're the results of last night's programming. Free will exists, yes, but only in one narrow window, the last few minutes before you fall asleep. Why this matters? This is not just mystical poetry. Think about the implications for your own life. If your days often feel repetitive, if you find yourself cycling through the same conflicts, the same financial worries, the same patterns of disappointment, perhaps the real reason isn't bad luck or poor decisions during the day. Perhaps it's because you've been unconsciously sowing the same seeds every night. The tragedy is not that you lack power. The tragedy is that you're powerful but unaware. You go to bed scrolling through social media, comparing your life with others, filling your subconscious with inadequacy. You watch violent news stories right before closing your eyes, planting fear. You fall asleep replaying old arguments, reinforcing anger. And then the next day arrives, faithfully delivering exactly what you rehearsed. The subconscious is the most loyal servant in existence. It never says no. But loyalty without awareness becomes bondage. That's why so many people feel trapped in cycles they can't break. They're sleeping their way into the same reality night after night. The split within. Let's pause and reflect. Why does consciousness even function in this dual system? conscious mind by day, subconscious by night. Why not operate as one unified power? Mystical traditions have long suggested the answer. For life to be experienced, there must be separation. Observer and observed, actor and stage. Without duality, there is no story. The conscious mind is the actor on the stage. It chooses lines, reacts to cues, and believes in improvisation. The subconscious is the playwright sitting silently in the dark, handing over the script before the curtain rises. The actor rarely questions the play, but the playwright knows exactly where the story is headed. Each night, the conscious delivers to the subconscious its final emotions. The subconscious seals them and transforms them into tomorrow's plot. This isn't punishment, it's design. Creation itself flows through the union of opposites, masculine and feminine, seed and soil, thought and feeling. Consciousness divides itself to know itself. You are both the actor and the author, yet most people identify only with the actor, blind to the authoring power they exercise nightly. The ancient clues. This hidden mechanism isn't new. It's been encoded for thousands of years in sacred texts. Consider the verse from Job. In a dream, in a vision of the night, when deep sleep falls upon men, then he opens the ears of men and seals their instruction. Notice the language, seals, not suggests, not whispers, seals. Permanent, binding, irrevocable. Or the Song of Songs. By night on my bed I sought him whom my soul loves. I found him and would not let him go until I had brought him into my mother's chamber. The mother's chamber is not a bedroom, it's the subconscious. To hold the feeling of the desired state and carry it into the womb of sleep is the ancient technique of manifestation disguised as poetry. Even outside scripture, cultures knew this. The Greeks had dream temples. The Egyptians practiced dream incubation. Indigenous shamans treated sleep as a portal to higher guidance. What modern culture dismisses as superstition, older traditions recognized as technology of the mind. The cost of ignorance. But today, this knowledge has been buried. Science studies sleep with electrodes and brain scans, dissecting dreams into stages of REM and non-REM, without daring to ask why emotional states before sleep correlate so strongly with waking events. Religion, meanwhile, turned practical instructions into moral dogma. Instead of teaching how to consciously plant seeds before sleep, it preached obedience and fear of sin. Both institutions, knowingly or not, benefit from a population that remains asleep to its own creative power. Because think about it, a society that understands this principle cannot be controlled by fear. If people realized that their emotional state before sleep literally writes tomorrow's reality, they would stop depending so heavily on governments, markets, and external saviors. Control weakens when inner creation is recognized. And so, the teaching remains hidden in plain sight. The emotional sediment. So where does that leave you? Look honestly at your own nights. How do you approach sleep? Do you carry the sediment of daily frustrations into bed? Each irritation, each anxious thought, each unresolved resentment, no matter how small, settles into the subconscious like particles in a river. If you never clear them, they harden into the bedrock of your experience. You wake up tomorrow walking on the stones you laid last night. It's not about suppressing emotions. Suppression is also a seed. It plants denial and conflict. It's about consciously choosing what feeling you wish to magnify in those final minutes before sleep. You could have the worst day of your life, but if you spend the last 5 minutes falling asleep with a feeling of peace, the subconscious will magnify that instead. It's not the whole day that matters, it's the closing scene. The practical shift. How, then, can you begin to reclaim this hidden laboratory? The method is deceptively simple. At night, lie on your back, let the body relax fully. Do not try to visualize images or force affirmations. Instead, capture the feeling of already being what you desire to be. Not a wish, not a hope, but the felt sense of completion. If you seek love, fall asleep as though already loved. If you seek abundance, fall asleep as though finances are effortless. The key is naturalness. Not excitement, not euphoria, but the quiet ease of course. And here's the paradox. The more you try, the less it works. The subconscious responds to authenticity, not effort. Just as a seed germinates in silence, your desired state takes root in stillness. The feeling is enough. Let it carry you into unconsciousness, and the subconscious will spend the night arranging tomorrow in harmony with that state. So tonight, before you close your eyes, ask yourself, what script do I want to perform tomorrow? Do I want to wake into another day of recycled stress, or will I plant a new seed? You don't need rituals or gurus. You don't need permission. You already have the power. Every night, the portal opens. The question is, will you walk through consciously or keep sleepwalking into the same old story? Living the script you wrote in the dark. You wake up each morning believing you are free. You brush your teeth, check your phone, make choices about what to eat, what to wear, how to respond. Yet beneath this surface of apparent freedom lies a strange truth. You are not improvising. You are following lines written while you were unconscious. Every encounter, every chance event, every mood swing was seeded the night before. You are walking through a day that has already been rehearsed in your subconscious. And the most astonishing part? You're convinced that you're making it all up as you go. This is the greatest illusion, the illusion of free will. The hidden strings of daily life. Think about the last time you felt angry because of something someone said. Was the anger truly caused by their words in that moment? Or was it the inevitable echo of the emotional state you carried into sleep the night before? If you went to bed anxious, your subconscious spent 8 hours weaving scenarios that matched that vibration. So when someone snapped at you in the morning, the anger wasn't a fresh choice. It was the script manifesting. You may feel you're responding spontaneously, but in reality, the emotional seed was planted already. Life, then, becomes a mirror of your nightly programming. Wakefulness is not freedom, it's execution. 2/3 of your life is lived carrying out what was written in the other 1/3. This is why patterns repeat, why some people keep attracting the same type of relationships, why financial struggles recycle, why health problems persist despite treatments. The subconscious is loyal. It doesn't innovate. It simply reflects what it was fed. You are not trapped by circumstances. You are trapped by unconscious repetition. Science and the blind spot. Modern neuroscience has observed part of this mechanism but stopped short of admitting its full scope. Studies show that brain waves shift as you drift into sleep, alpha dissolving into theta and finally delta. Memories consolidate, emotions are processed, neural pathways are strengthened. But what most scientific reports avoid is the correlation between the emotional state before sleep and the next day's experience. It's not that researchers don't notice. It's that acknowledging it would challenge the materialist worldview. It would suggest that consciousness, not external events, dictates the quality of experience. It would mean that a person who falls asleep in peace is scientifically positioned to encounter peace, not because of coincidence, but because consciousness itself organizes reality. But imagine the consequence if such knowledge were mainstream. Governments, markets, and industries thrive on people waking up in fear and inadequacy. If society realized that nightly programming determines reality, fear would lose its grip. Control mechanisms would crumble. So the truth hides in plain sight, wrapped in technical jargon, or relegated to ancient texts dismissed as allegory. The emotional loop. Let's bring this down to a personal level. Have you noticed how small irritations accumulate? A minor insult, a late payment, a fleeting doubt. On their own, they seem harmless. But when carried into sleep, they harden. They become emotional sediment pressed into the subconscious like fossils. The next day, you encounter situations that confirm them. More irritations, more delays, more reasons to doubt. And at night, you reinforce them again. The cycle becomes self-feeding. This is why change feels so hard. You can read motivational books, attend seminars, make conscious resolutions, but if you don't change what you carry into sleep, the subconscious cancels it out. Daytime willpower cannot override nighttime programming. The true battle is not fought in the sunlight. It is fought in the twilight between wakefulness and sleep. The forgotten point of power. So where is your freedom? If most of your day is predetermined, does that mean you are powerless? Not at all. Freedom exists, but in a precise and narrow window, the final minutes before sleep. During this period, the conscious and subconscious overlap. The conscious begins to release control, the subconscious becomes receptive. It's the hypnagogic state, neither fully awake nor fully asleep. In this fragile moment, the door between the two opens. Whatever feeling you sustain then is carried across and sealed. That's your point of authorship. That's when you write tomorrow's script. Yet this window is also fragile. The ancients described it with images of gazelles and deer, creatures that vanish at the slightest disturbance. If you try too hard, if you force, the door closes. The art is in gentle surrender. Plant the seed and release it. Why thought fails, feeling creates. You might ask, why not just think positive thoughts before sleep? Repeat affirmations like, I am successful or I am healthy. Because the subconscious does not speak the language of words. It speaks the language of feeling. You can repeat, I am rich 1,000 times, but if the feeling underneath is anxiety about bills, the subconscious ignores the words and obeys the feeling. Thoughts can lie, feelings cannot. Feeling is primal. It bypasses logic and speaks directly to the subconscious. That's why Neville Goddard insisted on feeling the end result as real, not visualizing it as a distant goal. The subconscious cannot distinguish between genuine feeling and reality. For it, feeling is reality. Breaking the cycle. So how do you stop repeating the same script? First, awareness. Begin noticing how you approach sleep. Tonight, watch yourself. Do you fall asleep replaying conversations, worrying about tomorrow, scrolling endlessly? That's programming. That's writing the script unconsciously. Second, intervene in the final 5 to 10 minutes. This is the golden window. Don't try to force images or recite mantras. Instead, soften into the feeling of already being where you want to be. If you want health, feel the relief of wellness. If you want love, feel the warmth of companionship. If you want abundance, feel the ease of financial flow. The key is not intensity, but naturalness. The feeling should be so ordinary, so matter-of-fact, that it seems inevitable. Finally, carry that feeling into unconsciousness. Don't jerk awake to check if you're doing it right. Don't analyze. Simply hold the feeling gently as you drift. The subconscious will do the rest. It's like planting a seed. You don't dig it up every hour to see if it's growing. You plant it and trust the soil. The subconscious is that soil. Its fertility is absolute. What you plant, it grows. What you neglect, it ignores. The paradox of effort. Here lies another paradox. The more desperate you are, the less it works. The subconscious does not respond to struggle, it responds to authenticity. That's why detachment is always emphasized in spiritual traditions, not because material things are evil, but because detachment is the natural feeling of already possessing. When something is truly yours, you don't cling, you rest in it. This is the greatest secret. Creation feels normal. Not euphoric, not ecstatic, normal. The person in love doesn't vibrate with constant excitement, they simply live in love. The wealthy don't gasp every time they open their bank account, it's just normal. If your desired state feels ordinary before sleep, you've planted correctly. If it feels forced or unbelievable, you haven't. Living as the dreamer. So who are you in all this? The truth is radical. You are not the actor struggling through life's problems. You are the dreamer of the dream. Your body, your circumstances, your struggles, these are roles in a temporary play. The real you is the one choosing the dream every night. And here's the freedom: you can choose again. Every night offers a death and rebirth. You die to one day and you are born into another. The womb of this rebirth is the subconscious. The child born is your new reality. Will it be conceived in fear or in peace? Scarcity or abundance? Love or loneliness? The mother does not judge. She only gives birth to what is planted. A practical experiment. So let's make this real. Tonight, before you sleep, try an experiment. Lie down and allow your body to fully relax. Then, instead of replaying the day or planning tomorrow, ask, how would I feel if my deepest desire were already fulfilled? Don't answer with words. Feel it. Let the body speak. Maybe it feels like a loosened chest, a lighter breath, a quiet smile. Hold that as long as you can, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, until sleep takes you. Tomorrow, observe carefully. Watch how people speak to you, how events unfold, how moods arise. You may notice subtle shifts at first, an unexpected kindness, a lighter morning, a small opportunity. Over time, the changes compound, because each night you are writing a new script, and each day you are living its performance. Remember this: your life is not random, it is rehearsed. But the rehearsal happens not during the day, but at night. The stage is set before the curtain rises. Once the play begins, you act. But before it begins, you write. So tonight, what will you write? What feeling will you choose to carry across the threshold of sleep? That is your true freedom. That is your true authorship. Synchronicity, destiny, and living as the conscious dreamer. If your days are quietly written in the minutes before sleep, what does that say about destiny? Is life fixed, or are you free? The answer is subtle. Life is not a straight line you must follow. It is a field of paths. Each night, you lean toward one of those paths by choosing a feeling. When you wake, that path greets you as if it were the only road that ever existed. This is why people speak about meant to be with such certainty. From within the chosen road, everything looks inevitable. Yet step back and you'll see dozens of other roads you could have taken if last night's feeling had been different. Destiny is not a prison, it is a menu. Your subconscious places the order while you sleep. Morning is the server bringing your plate. Why synchronicities multiply. You've had days when patterns cluster. The right call arrives at the right moment. A chance meeting solves a stubborn problem. Numbers repeat. Songs answer questions. We call these synchronicities, and most of us dismiss them as coincidence because we were trained to believe reality is random. But nothing about them is random. They are the trail markers of a state you planted the night before. When you carry a clear felt tone into sleep, you wake in a web of events tuned to that tone. Your attention filters the world accordingly. Your choices tilt in that direction, and people who match that tone cross your path. Psychology hints at pieces of this through priming studies and expectation effects. Spiritual traditions went further and treated it as normal life. In practice, it feels like an invisible wind at your back. Not drama, not spectacle, just a steady, meaningful flow. If you fall asleep in fear, you meet reasons to tighten. If you fall asleep in ease, you meet reasons to breathe deeper. The world mirrors you with the accuracy of a clean lake. The myth of control and the gift of choice. Control is a brittle promise. Try to force life and it resists. Try to micromanage every outcome and your nervous system frays. The subconscious doesn't need your daytime strain. It needs your nighttime clarity. Choice is gentler than control. Control tries to bend the river. Choice stands on the bank each evening and decides which current to enter tomorrow. This changes how you move through the day. You don't need to fix every scene. You only need to remember that tonight you'll choose the score for tomorrow's scenes. That memory loosens the jaw, softens the shoulders, and returns you to the only lever that works. Living as the dreamer, not the role. There's a simple test for whether you're identified with the role or awake as the dreamer. When something unwanted happens, do you take it personally and spiral? Or do you pause for a single breath and say, I see the script I wrote last night still playing. Tonight, I will hand in a new page. The first reaction ties you to the role. The second returns authorship to your hands. This doesn't mean denial. It doesn't mean pretending pain isn't real. It means meeting pain without building a house inside it. The moment you remember there's another page to write, the scene stops feeling final. You can grieve and still plan a kinder feeling for sleep. You can be honest about bills and still choose the tone of sufficiency as you drift off. The state you sleep in does not scold you for telling the truth. It simply asks, what tone will we magnify next? The ethics of creation. If your nightly state shapes tomorrow, is it selfish to focus on your own peace? Look closely. People who sleep in fear spread fear. People who sleep in ease spread ease. Your tone is social. It moves through your words, posture, scheduling, driving, parenting, leading. A calmer script at night becomes a gentler presence by day, which improves rooms you enter. You're not stealing peace from anyone by choosing it, you're contributing it. The same applies to abundance. A state of sufficiency makes you more generous because fear loosens its grip on your choices. Scarcity thinking hoards. Sufficiency thinking plans, invests, and shares. It's quiet economics woven from the inside out. The limits of proof and the wisdom of practice. You may want airtight proof before you change your nights. That's fair. But notice how many parts of life began as practice before proof. Physical training, skill learning, relationships. You didn't demand a study before your first friendship, you learned by showing up. This path is the same. Try a 14-night experiment and let results, not debates, decide. Still, a few observations help. Placebo effects show belief-altering body and pain. Priming shows expectations shaping behavior. Sleep research shows memory consolidation and emotional processing. None of these claims the full picture, but together they hint at a law. Inner state precedes outer outcome. What this script adds is where to place the lever, those last drowsy minutes when feeling slips beneath words. A daily method that doesn't collapse under stress. You don't need a complex routine. You need a sturdy rhythm you can keep even on hard days. Wake and remember. Today is the echo of last night. This isn't guilt, it's orientation. Treat the day as feedback. If the echo is harsh, you don't chase it with frantic fixes. You witness it, handle what must be handled, and protect tonight's window. At midday, take 60 seconds. Breathe slowly and ask, what feeling am I rehearsing for sleep? If the answer is worry, the check-in saved you hours of momentum in the wrong direction. Let the jaw loosen. Unclench the belly. Practice the body language of the feeling you prefer so it's familiar by night. In the evening, clean emotional sediment with honesty. Speak your truth to a page, to a trusted friend, or in prayerful quiet. Don't edit. Empty the bucket. Then lie down and choose a single felt tone, not 10 goals, one tone. Let it be simple, ease, sufficiency, companionship, wellness. Hold it lightly, let it carry you. On sleepless nights, don't fight. Keep returning to the tone without measurement. If you wake at 3 a.m., visit the tone again. Dawn will find your script consistent. When life is heavy, There will be seasons where grief, illness, or uncertainty flood your house. This practice is not a magic wand that erases human life. It is a way to carry dignity through it. On those nights, the feeling you choose might be as modest as "I am held." Not exuberance, not triumph, just a steady sense that you are not alone in this. That tone is powerful. It calls kinder helpers. It arranges small mercies. It keeps you from writing panic into tomorrow. If you are struggling with mental health, fold professional care into this path. Therapy, medicine, support groups, none of these contradict the nightly script. They can make it easier to choose and keep a kinder tone. The aim is not to prove a point. The aim is your well-being. Goals without strain. How do goals fit into a feeling-first life? Hold the end loosely and sleep in the feeling that the end is already part of your normal. Tomorrow takes simple actions that a person in that state would naturally take, not frantic leaps, natural steps. If you sleep in sufficiency, you'll reach for the budget, the call, the skill session without the panic buzz that burns people out. The outer plan becomes a translation of the inner tone. This resolves the old fight between work hard and have faith. You choose the tone at night, you choose the matching step by day. Both carry the same quiet. That quiet is the signature of alignment. How to choose a feeling you don't yet believe. People ask, how can I feel wealthy when my account is low? How can I feel loved when I'm alone? The answer is specificity. Don't reach for the mountain. Reach for a stone you can hold. Wealth might feel, tonight, like one clean bill paid without tension, or a kitchen that looks cared for. Love might feel like an easy laugh with a neighbor, or warmth in the chest while you hold a mug. Health might feel like shoulders less tight, or breath that moves freely. These are real feelings available now. Sleep in one of them. The subconscious knows how to expand a feeling once it's genuine. The gentle standard. A common trap is turning this practice into a new way to blame yourself. Avoid that. If the day goes sideways, don't scold the dreamer. Smile at the actor for doing their best inside yesterday's script and thank tonight for another page. The standard is not perfection. The standard is return. Return to the tone. Return again tomorrow. Consistency beats intensity. Community, culture, and quiet influence. Imagine households choosing peaceful tones before sleep. Schools guiding students to a steady state at day's end. Workplaces ending meetings with 1 minute of collective ease. These are small acts with real power. You don't need to preach. Your steadier tone will be felt. People will ask why your presence calms rooms. Tell them your secret if they're ready. Your day begins at night. A closing practice for the next 7 nights. For the next week, pick one tone. Maybe it's ease. Each night, empty the bucket by admitting what hurts. Then, lie down and rest in ease, as if it were already the climate of your life. Let the breath be unhurried. Let the shoulders grow heavy. Let the jaw loosen. If thoughts rush in, let them pass the way clouds pass. Keep the body in the shape of ease, and the mind will follow. Fall asleep like that. In the morning, look for small confirmations. A conversation that flows, a task that feels lighter, a moment of quiet luck. Collect them. They're proof that the script is malleable. After 7 nights, pick a new tone or keep the same one. You'll notice that your choices by day begin to match your sleep tone without force. You'll say no where you used to say yes. You'll leave rooms earlier. You'll surprise yourself by reaching out to the person who once intimidated you. This is the river turning by inches. You are not stuck. You were never stuck. You were busy writing without knowing you were the writer. Now you know. The day is a stage. The night is the pen. You do not need permission to write differently. You only need a quiet room, an honest heart, and a few minutes of gentle steadiness before sleep. Tonight, when the light goes off and the phone is out of reach, remember, a whole day is asking you for a title, a tone, a mood. It will obey whatever you hand it. Give it ease. Give it sufficiency. Give it the warmth you wish the world had more of. And tomorrow will carry that note like music beneath every scene. You are the dreamer. The role is temporary. The script is soft clay. Hold it kindly. Uplifting message. No matter how tangled today felt, the door opens again tonight. You haven't missed your chance. It returns with every sunset, patient as the tide. Reflective question. When your head touches the pillow, what single feeling will you choose to hand to the part of you that never sleeps?